Most common dreams ranked: the hidden psychology behind falling, being chased, losing teeth and failing exams. Why the same dreams keep haunting millions of people. Some dreams feel so personal that they seem impossible for anyone else to understand. You wake up with your heart racing after someone chases you. You feel the drop in your stomach after falling from nowhere. You sit in an exam room for a subject you never revised. You open your mouth and your teeth begin to crumble. Then comes the strange part. Millions of other people have dreamed almost the same thing. That is what makes common dreams so fascinating. They are intimate, emotional, and often bizarre, yet they repeat across people, cultures, and generations. The names change, the locations change, the monster changes, but the deeper pattern stays weirdly familiar. Modern dream psychology does not treat these dreams as supernatural messages or simple fortune-telling. A dream about falling does not mean disaster is coming. A dream about losing teeth does not automatically mean death, shame, or betrayal. A dream about being chased does not always mean someone is literally after you. The better explanation is sharper. Dreams are emotional simulations. They take pressure, memory, body sensation, fear, desire, and unfinished waking concerns, and then turn them into scenes. The brain does not say, "You are anxious about control." It drops you from a building. It does not say, "You feel exposed." It puts you naked in public. It does not say, "You are avoiding something." It makes something chase you. That is why the most common dreams matter. They show the human nervous system speaking in images. The most common dreams are not random. Dream research has repeatedly found that certain themes appear again and again. One large study of Canadian university students using the Typical Dreams questionnaire found especially high lifetime rates for being chased, sexual experiences, falling, and school-related dreams. The exact percentages vary depending on the sample and method, but the broad pattern is clear. Humans repeatedly dream about threat, performance, desire, loss of control, exposure, and social judgment. That matters because the most common dream themes are not small, neutral, or boring. People are not mainly dreaming about brushing their teeth, waiting for a kettle to boil, or moving a chair across a room. They dream about danger. They dream about being evaluated. They dream about being unable to act. They dream about bodies failing, relationships returning, places changing, and rules breaking. The dream world is dramatic because the emotional brain is dramatic. During sleep, especially REM sleep, the brain remains highly active and is strongly involved in emotional memory processing. REM sleep has been linked to the processing of emotional events, fear memories, and the consolidation of emotionally significant material. That does not mean every dream has a grand hidden meaning, but it does mean the dreaming brain is deeply connected to emotion and memory rather than random visual noise. The common dream is therefore not a glitch. It is the mind using old emotional machinery while the body is offline. Being chased, the brain turns avoidance into a predator. The chase dream is one of the most common and most ancient feeling dream plots. Something is after you. You do not always know what it is. Sometimes it is a person. Sometimes it is an animal. Sometimes it is a shadow, a stranger, a force, or simply the certainty that you must run. Psychologically, this is often the dream of avoidance. The thing chasing you may not represent a literal enemy. It may represent a demand, conflict, fear, deadline, guilt, memory, or emotional truth that you are not facing directly. In waking life, avoidance can look calm. You ignore the email. You delay the conversation. You pretend the decision is not urgent. In the dream, the avoided thing becomes mobile. It moves toward you. That is why chasing dreams is so common. Human beings are threat detection machines. The nervous system is built to scan for danger, escape danger, and remember danger. Even in modern life, where many threats are emotional, financial, professional, or relational rather than physical, the old brain still prefers simple images. Pressure becomes pursuit. A chase dream becomes more meaningful when you ask what you are doing in the dream. Are you hiding, running, fighting, freezing, looking for help? unable to scream. The emotional pattern may matter more than the identity of the pursuer. A person under work pressure may dream of being chased through corridors. Someone avoiding a breakup conversation may dream of being hunted by a faceless figure. Someone who feels morally guilty may dream of being pursued by police, crowds, or something undefined. The details differ, but the emotional structure is often the same. Something is coming, and the dreamer does not feel ready to face it. Falling. The nightmare of losing control. Falling dreams are brutally simple. There is no complex plot required. The ground disappears, the body drops, and the dreamer wakes with a jolt. The usual psychological reading is loss of control. Falling is the body's perfect metaphor for instability. You are no longer standing. You are no longer steering. You are no longer held. Something beneath you has failed. That is why falling dreams often appear during periods of uncertainty. Career instability, financial pressure, romantic insecurity, family conflict, failure anxiety, and major life transitions can all create the same emotional shape. The dream does not need to explain the situation. It gives you the sensation. But falling dreams are not purely symbolic. They may also be connected to body sensations during sleep. As people drift off, they can experience sudden muscle jerks, vestibular sensations, or the feeling of dropping. The dreaming brain may then build a falling scene around that bodily signal. This is one of the most important lessons in dream psychology. A dream can be both physical and emotional. The body sends a signal. The mind gives it a story. The story then borrows from whatever emotional material is already active. If life feels uncertain, the drop becomes psychologically charged. If the body simply twitches, the dream may be brief and meaningless. The same image can carry different weight depending on the person and moment. Exam dreams. The old fear room that never closes. Exam dreams are among the cruelest common dreams because they often return long after school is over. Adults in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond still dream they are sitting an exam they did not revise for, missing a class they forgot they were enrolled in, or discovering they never completed a qualification they thought was finished. This is not usually about school itself. It is about judgment. School is where many people first learn the emotional architecture of formal evaluation. Deadlines, authority, comparison, ranking, public embarrassment, the fear of being exposed as unprepared, the belief that one performance can define your future. Later in life, the mind keeps that template. A workplace review becomes an exam. A presentation becomes an exam. A relationship test becomes an exam. A financial decision becomes an exam. The dream uses school because school was the original theatre of pressure. That is why exam dreams are so common among high-functioning, ambitious, or anxious people. The more you care about performance, the more easily the old classroom returns. The dream does not need to know that you left school years ago. Emotionally, you are still being marked. Cross-cultural research suggests school and study dreams can appear especially strongly in student populations and may vary by cultural pressure, educational environment, and social expectations. The theme is widely recognizable, but the intensity can change depending on how much a culture attaches identity, status, and family expectation to academic performance. The deeper meaning is often not you miss school. It is you feel tested. Teeth falling out, the body horror dream everyone recognizes. Teeth dreams are strangely horrifying. Teeth loosen, crack, fall out, rot, crumble, or fill the mouth. The dreamer often feels panic, disgust, or shame. It is intimate body horror because teeth are visible, functional, and socially important. Popular culture often gives teeth dreams fixed meanings: insecurity, aging, vanity, loss, death, or fear of embarrassment. Some of those interpretations can fit. Teeth are tied to appearance, speech, attractiveness, confidence, and social presentation. Losing them in a dream can feel like losing control over how others see you. But the science is more interesting than the folklore. Research on teeth dreams has explored whether they may be linked to dental irritation, jaw tension, or bodily sensations during sleep. One empirical study described teeth dreams as common and universal, while examining whether they relate more to psychological distress or to physical dental sensations. That makes teeth dreams a perfect example of dream fusion. The jaw may clench, the mouth may feel strange, the body may produce a sensation. Then the mind turns it into a story about damage, shame, and loss. This does not make the dream meaningless. It means meaning can enter through the body. A person under stress may clench their jaw more. The jaw sensation may trigger the dream. The dream then expresses stress through the image of teeth breaking. Body and psychology become one scene. Being naked in public. The dream of exposure. The naked in public dream is not really about nudity. It is about exposure. The dream usually involves suddenly realizing you are visible in a way you did not consent to. You are at school, at work, in the street, at a party, or in front of strangers. Everyone can see something you wanted hidden. Sometimes they laugh. Sometimes they do not notice. Sometimes their indifference is the disturbing part. Psychologically, this dream often maps onto vulnerability, shame, or fear of being found out. It can appear when someone feels unprepared, judged, dishonest, inadequate, or socially unsafe. It can also appear when someone is entering a new role and feels they do not yet fully belong. The key question is not, why was I naked? The key question is, what did it feel like to be seen? If the dream is humiliating, it may point towards social anxiety or fear of judgment. If the dream is strangely freeing, it may point toward authenticity, rebellion, or relief from performance. If nobody notices, it may suggest the fear of exposure is larger in the dreamer's mind than in other people's attention. The dream is common because social exposure is one of the most powerful human fears. Humans are tribal animals. Rejection, shame, and humiliation are not minor emotions. To the nervous system, social danger can feel like survival danger. Flying, the dream of freedom, escape, and power. Flying dreams are often remembered differently from nightmares. They can feel beautiful, euphoric, or powerful. The dreamer rises above streets, fields, buildings, or oceans. Gravity loosens. The body becomes capable of something impossible. The most obvious interpretation is freedom. Flying can represent escape from pressure, confidence, ambition, perspective, or the wish to rise above a problem. It can also reflect control. Unlike falling, where the body is helpless, flying can make the dreamer feel masterful. But flying dreams are not always positive. Some people struggle to stay in the air. Some feel afraid of falling. Some fly to escape pursuit. Some feel detached from the world below. In those cases, the dream may be less about freedom and more about avoidance, instability, or emotional distance. The meaning depends on the emotional tone. A person who feels trapped may dream of flying as release. A person who feels powerful may dream of flying as mastery. A person who fears responsibility may dream of floating away. A person under pressure may dream of escape rather than confrontation. Flying is common because dreams are not bound by waking physics. The sleeping brain can simulate movement without bodily limitation. It can give the mind an impossible solution to a very human problem, getting above what feels too heavy, being unable to move, when sleep physiology turns into terror. One of the most frightening dream-like experiences is being unable to move. The person may feel awake, trapped inside their body, aware of the room, and unable to speak or move. Sometimes there is a sensed presence. Sometimes there is pressure on the chest. Sometimes the experience becomes a full, supernatural nightmare. This is often connected to sleep paralysis. During REM sleep, the body naturally suppresses major muscle movement. This protective mechanism helps stop people from physically acting out dreams. Sleep paralysis can happen when awareness returns before that muscle inhibition has fully lifted. The result can feel terrifying. The mind is awake enough to notice, but the body has not yet switched movement back on. This is one of the clearest examples of physiology becoming mythology. In one culture, the experience may be interpreted as a demon; in another, a ghost; in another, an alien presence. In another, a shadow figure. The bodily mechanism may be similar, but the story placed on top changes with culture, belief, and expectation. Representative German survey research has found falling, being chased, and being paralyzed to be stable, typical dream themes across multiple time periods, suggesting that these experiences are not just modern inventions or internet-driven trends. The terror is real. The explanation does not need to be supernatural for the experience to feel overwhelming. Dead loved ones returning. When grief reopens the door. Dreams of dead loved ones can be among the most emotionally intense dreams a person ever has. A parent appears alive. A grandparent speaks again. A friend returns as if nothing happened. A partner is suddenly present, ordinary, reachable, and then gone again when the dream ends. These dreams can comfort or devastate. Sometimes they feel like a gift. Sometimes they feel like being bereaved twice. Psychologically, they are often connected to attachment and grief. The mind does not delete a person when they die. It stores their face, voice, habits, role, emotional meaning, and unfinished conversations. The waking world has changed, but the internal model of that person remains active. That is why the dead can return in dreams as living presences. The dream does not have to mean the person is literally communicating. It also should not be dismissed as just memory. For the grieving mind, memory is not cold storage. It is relationship material. The dream may be the brain revisiting attachment, processing absence, rehearsing goodbye, or allowing a moment of contact the waking world no longer permits. These dreams may become more common with age, simply because older people have usually experienced more loss, but they can happen at any age after bereavement, especially when grief is still emotionally active. The deeper meaning is not always complicated. Sometimes the mind brings back the person because love has not finished speaking. Being late, lost, or unable to arrive, the dream of modern pressure. Another common dream theme is trying to get somewhere and failing. You are late for a train. You cannot find the room. The road changes. Your phone will not work. You keep packing, but never finish. You know something important is happening, but the dream blocks every attempt to arrive. This is the dream of frustrated agency. Modern life is full of invisible pressure. People are not always running from predators or fighting enemies. They are trying to manage time, expectations, logistics, work, relationships, money, messages, travel, admin, and constant decisions. The dream converts that pressure into obstruction. That is why phones often fail in dreams. You try to type, but the letters change. You try to call, but the number disappears. You try to send a message, but the screen will not respond. The emotional meaning is obvious. You need control, contact, or action, and the tool fails you. These dreams are common because waking life is full of blocked intention. You know what you need to do, but something keeps interfering. Sleep turns that into corridors, missed trains, locked doors, and broken devices. Why bad dreams are more memorable than pleasant ones. People often assume they have more negative dreams than positive ones. That may be partly true for some people, especially during stress, trauma, or poor sleep. But it is also true that negative dreams are easier to remember. Fear wakes people up. Shame wakes people up. Falling wakes people up. Grief wakes people up. A pleasant dream may dissolve quietly into the morning, while a nightmare forces itself into memory. This creates a recall bias. The dreams people remember most are not necessarily the dreams they have most often. They are the dreams that interrupt sleep, create strong emotion, or leave a bodily reaction behind. Dream recall is also affected by sleep fragmentation, stress, alcohol, medication, sleep disorders, and whether someone wakes during or near REM sleep. A person may dream regularly, but remember very little. Another person may have lighter, more broken sleep, and remember vivid scenes every morning. So when someone says, "I keep dreaming more lately," the deeper answer may be that you may be dreaming more, remembering more, waking more, or sleeping less smoothly. Have common dreams changed over time? The deeper dream themes seem surprisingly stable. People have long dreamed about falling, being chased, paralysis, sex, death, exposure. failure, and impossible movement. The human body and nervous system have not changed enough for those themes to disappear. What changes is the scenery. A person in one era may dream of being chased through woods. A modern office worker may dream of being chased through a car park, shopping center, airport, school corridor, or digital space. An older exam dream might involve paper and ink. A modern performance dream might involve a failed Zoom call, corrupted spreadsheet, broken laptop, or email sent to the wrong person. History changes the props. Biology keeps the plot. Collective stress can also shift dream content. During the COVID-19 pandemic, dream researchers found changes in dream recall, negative dream themes, and pandemic-specific dream material across different populations. This makes sense. When waking life becomes globally threatening, sleep does not remain untouched. The emotional grammar stays old. The costume becomes contemporary. Are common dreams different around the world? Dreams are both universal and cultural. The universal part comes from shared biology. Humans everywhere have bodies that can fall, freeze, bleed, desire, grieve, and panic. Humans everywhere fear threat, rejection, shame, loss, failure, grief, and abandonment. That is why common dream themes repeat across countries. The cultural part comes from interpretation and emphasis. In highly academic cultures, school and exam dreams may carry heavier emotional force. In religious cultures, visitation dreams or sleep paralysis may be interpreted spiritually. In societies with strong shame codes, exposure dreams may feel especially intense. In dangerous environments, threat dreams may be more literal. In technologically saturated cultures, dreams may increasingly include phones, screens, cars, cameras, and digital failure. Geography does not rewrite the nervous system. It gives the nervous system different symbols. That is why the same dream can be explained differently in different places. One person sees sleep paralysis as a neurological event. Another sees it as a spirit attack. One person sees a dead relative dream as grief processing. Another sees it as visitation. Both may be describing the same raw experience through different cultural languages. What dreams actually mean? The biggest mistake is treating dreams like fixed dictionaries. A snake does not always mean betrayal. Teeth do not always mean death. Falling does not always mean failure. Sex does not always mean literal desire. A dead loved one does not always mean a message from beyond. The same image can mean different things depending on the dreamer, the emotion, and the timing. The best clue is usually the feeling. Ask what emotion dominated the dream: fear, shame, relief, desire, guilt, grief, power, helplessness. Then ask where that emotion appears in waking life. The bridge between dream and reality is usually emotional rather than literal. A chase dream may connect to avoidance. A falling dream may connect to instability. An exam dream may connect to judgment. A teeth dream may connect to stress, self-image, or body sensation. A paralysis dream may connect to REM physiology. A dead relative dream may connect to grief and attachment. Dreams are not court evidence. They are not prophecies. They are not always deep, but they are rarely emotionally empty. They are the mind's night language, the final meaning of common dreams. The most common dreams are common because human beings keep facing the same inner pressures. We fear being hunted by consequences. We fear losing control. We fear being judged. We fear being exposed. We fear our bodies failing. We fear missing the moment. We fear losing people. We fear wanting what we should not want. We fear not being ready. Dreams turn those fears into theater. That is why they can feel absurd and accurate at the same time. A dream may make no logical sense, yet emotionally it lands with brutal precision. You were not really being chased. You were not really falling. You were not really back at school, but the feeling was real. The brain is not trying to write a perfect story. It is trying to process pressure, memory, emotion, and sensation, while consciousness is loosened and the body is still. Different century, same nervous system. The monster changes. The exam changes. The phone replaces the letter. The airport replaces the village road. The nightmare adapts to the age. But underneath it all, the human mind keeps returning to the same questions. Am I safe? Am I ready? Am I wanted? Am I in control? What am I avoiding? What have I lost? And what is still chasing me?